Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Copper Jacket TV. So today's video should make your blood boil. If it doesn't, you might want to check for a pulse because this is outrageous. So I had a buddy come visit me yesterday. I used to live in California. I was born and raised there. And about 5 years ago, I moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, he came up to visit. He owns a shop out in Palmdale, California called 308 Industries. And while he was out here, we just basically were talking shop. You know, we were talking about all the different things that California is trying to do to you, all the different things that California is trying to do to him on his side. And he gave me some behind the scenes information, you know, a look at what he is expected to do. And one of the things that I found out, once you put the numbers together, it's shocking. So let's talk about what's going on here. Hey, real quick, if you support content like this, consider sharing it with your friends, sharing it on your social media, or subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet. It's free, it only takes a second, but it really does help us out a lot here, and it helps us spread our message, and it lets the powers that be know that you guys want to see content like this. So make sure you become engaged with videos like this. It really does help the cause out quite a bit. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So if you're from the state of California, I'm sure you've heard about the new 11% excise tax on firearms and ammunition that just took effect on July 1st of this year. So this is an 11% tax on top of any pre-existing taxes. Now, I was talking to him about that and talking about how obviously, you know, he can't absorb that, so it's going to be transferred to the customer, right? And he said, well, no, they actually expect us to charge the customer for it. And they even sent us an email, the California State Franchise Tax Board sent them an email on how they're supposed to charge people for it. So now I actually have a breakdown of exactly how California expects you to pay that extra 11%. And like I said, when you actually see it broken down and what you guys are actually paying for out there, the numbers are astonishing. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. It takes something that's mildly affordable and turns it into something that is unaffordable. If you take something that maybe is newly added to the roster, which tends to be more expensive than everything else, like a 365, and you take a look at that, it takes something that is expensive for you, not for anybody else in the rest of the country, but expensive for you, and it makes it unattainable almost, at least unattainable to the average middle-class working person. So I want to show you guys this email real quick and how they break it down so you guys actually have a visual of what they're putting you through. Now, as we take a look at the example that was provided in an email that was sent to my friend, I do want to remind you that there is a lawsuit that is challenging this 11% excise tax. It is a lawsuit that was brought by the CRPA, the 2AF, and the FPC, and I believe that was filed just after the law took effect on July 1st. So it was filed maybe July 2nd or July 3rd. So that is James v. Maduros. So you can see here it says, below is an example of how the CFET and sales tax is calculated. So you start off right off the bat with a base of 500, right? Okay, so that's what you're going in for. It could be 500, could be 900, whatever. But you start off with that base of 500 in this example. And because it's just an example, obviously some of these things can change. Some of them are set in stone just due to California law. But again, some of it obviously can change. So you start off with 500, right? And then they have a discretionary fee here of 60. So you have that, you add 60, and then the gross fee, $31.19. $31.19 plus add $1 for that, and then another $5 for safety and enforcement, and then you have the card fee of $10, right? That brings you up to $607.19. Now, not all of that is going to be subject to that new 11% excise tax. It's just going to be the 500, the 50, or excuse me, the 500, the 60, and the 10, which means that's $570. That means that you're looking at a total of $62.70. $62.70 on that original 500 in an excise tax. So that's just the 11% excise tax. Now you take that same amount, right? The 500, the 60, and the 10, and that is what sales tax is going to be added to. Now here they're just using a rough 8.5%. That could be higher depending on where you are. You know, if the city or the county that you live in has a higher tax rate, then you're going to pay that higher tax rate. And that's typically what I've seen. I think it's like over 9% or something like that right now. But they have it calculated at 48 $48.45. So now we take those two tax numbers, the $62.70 and the $48.45, you add those together, and just in tax alone on something for $500 is over $111. You're paying over $111 for something that was $500. Unbelievable. That's over 20%. Over 20%. But then you still got to add those other fees and the dross and everything else in there. So you got to go back to that $607.19, right? And then you add those taxes to it, and that thing that was $500 now costs $718. So it went from $500 to $718 because of that 11% excise tax. Now try and keep in mind that that's just calculating it at $500, which is very small. It can very easily go 2, 3, 4 times as much as that, and that means that you're going to pay 2, 3, 4 times as much as the amount as what we just talked about. It is unbelievable. And the amount of pain that this is not just causing the consumer, but it's causing the person behind the scenes is astronomical. I mean, again, you're taking people who already maybe couldn't afford it, or just, were really on the brink of being able to afford it, and now you've made it unaffordable. Because again, we're just talking about the small number. Those bigger numbers, just forget about it. That it just grows exponentially along with that number. So when I saw that, the thing is, we all known about it. I've made so many videos about this 11% excise tax, and we've talked about how it's going to be 20+% that people are going to have to pay, and how outrageous I thought it was. But it's not really until you see the visual of it and where it actually goes that it really hits you. And this is something that people in California have been dealing with now since July 1st. So hopefully, in this case, we can see an injunction. And look, we got the best working on this one. I mean, we're talking about the CRPA, the 2AF, the FPC, and others who have teamed up. I mean, we're not talking like they just filed a brief for the other one. These are people who have teamed up to try and stop this one. So it's really a group effort of these organizations that are trying to stop this. And I hope that they can, because again, what this does is it doesn't hurt anybody who's in a higher income bracket. Anybody who makes a bunch of money, you're not even going to notice the difference. You probably don't even care. But those people who really do care, those people who are living paycheck to paycheck, those are the people who are going to notice the biggest difference. And to be honest with you, those are probably the ones that need them the most. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you and just, again, give you that visual so that you can see for yourself exactly what is going on behind the scenes and why you're seeing, such big numbers at the end there. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, subscribe. You guys have a great day.